sometimes curse throughout this, so forgive me if that happens. But throughout this, if something catches your, attention, take a picture or a boomerang of the, our call, the masterclass tonight, and tag me on Instagram. You can put your favorite quote if you want, or just show that you are showing up, because that really does speak volumes to what you are ready to change in your life. And when you are showing up for the people and showing them what you're doing, it has this awesome effect of, when we show up, other people are able to see that they can make changes too, right? So for me, if I had never decided, okay, I'm going to change my life, and then I'm going to share that, there are so many people who wouldn't have been affected. So that's just something that I think is a fun way for you guys to participate in that. Just tag me on Insta. I'm always on Insta stories, and I would love to chat with you and get to know you there. Also, I want to let you know to stick around until the end of this to take part in the visualization that I'm going to have. It's one of my favorite visualizations ever, and you're really going to love it and appreciate it. So, like I said, who I am is, I grew up thinking I never had a passion. I didn't know what my purpose in life was. I kind of just was floating by, thinking that life was good enough. I wasn't suffering. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't miserable. I was happy enough. I have a really great family. I grew up in a nice home. I had friends always. I had boyfriends, and everything was good enough. It was okay, but my confidence was not there. I was super insecure about everything. I grew up really shy and really reserved, overweight, uncomfortable in my skin at all times. I just didn't feel worthy of kind of being seen, and I shoved myself into the background a lot of times. Mainly it started because I was always the bigger kid. I'm 5'10", so you can imagine when I was little, you look at my school class pictures, I'm this much taller than every boy in the pictures. And for my self-confidence, that just didn't go well. And I wasn't skinny. I was bigger. And so I tried to shrink down in every other area of my life. And so I kept quiet. I didn't draw attention to myself. I didn't dress up. I didn't have a fashion sense, right? Because I just wanted to blend in. And so I went through this life transformation, and now, like I said before, I help women release self-doubt and step into their true, fierce, fiery, freaking potential. And I just help them do it more quickly than I did, because I spent so much time figuring out what worked for me. And now I just streamlined it in order to help people get to that step so that they can start living out their passion and their purpose and continue growing and all of that. So before we get fully into the training tonight, I wanted to show you something that I do. I don't know if you guys know what these are, but they are the Universe Has Your Back cards. And I pull one every morning. It's a deck of cards. You can get them on Amazon. It's called The Universe Has Your Back. And really, you just think of something, a situation in your life, or even in the morning, you think to yourself what do I need to hear today most, right? And so before this call, I pulled a card saying, okay, what do I need to hear most right now? And I wanted to share it with you. And after all that little technical difficulty at the beginning of this, I think it's even more telling what this card means, right? And it says, when I accept the love of the universe as my primary teacher, I will always be guided back to the light. So for me, I took that for myself as the universe is here for us, right? That's our primary teacher, and I'm just here to pass on that message to you, what changed my life. And when I recognize that the universe always has my back, things are going to work out. My message is going to come across clearly. You guys are going to receive the message clearly. Even with the technical difficulties that we have, things will work out, right? And then I also have this crystal here. You guys are going to think I'm nuts. I have all my crystals back there too. But this one I wanted to keep front and center. This is, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm pretty sure it's opalite. I don't know if you guys know much about crystals. I know only a little bit. But this one I wanted to keep close because it's specifically to increase personal power and boost self-esteem and your sense of worth. And it's something that can help you unleash inner strength and uncover and express your deeper feelings and desires that you aren't always able to recognize on your own. So this is a really good stone for that. And I thought that it would be a great time to pull it out and have it here with you guys. So that's something, this energy that's coming from this stone right now, you guys, if you think I'm wacky, this is what I'm into. And this is really the stuff. These are some of the tools that have helped me really shift into a new mindset. But the energy from this is being passed and shared with all of you. So just know that, right? So tonight, while we're digging into the BS that's been holding us back, we have other things on our side, right? And I'm here on your side. All of the energy from this whole group of the people watching now, the people who are watching the replay, that energy is on our side. And that's so freaking powerful and awesome when you think about how many people are ready to show up and make their lives better and leave mediocrity behind and stop accepting good enough as good enough, because it's not freaking good enough, right? So while we get started, what I want to do is just kind of clear ourselves, right, and do a quick little breathing meditation. So just close your eyes for a minute, right? And I want you to breathe in deep through your nose and hold at the top, and then we'll breathe out together. Ready? And hold the breath. Clear it out. Okay, one more time, breathe in. And out. All right, so here tonight, we are agreeing to be open. We're agreeing to be open to guidance from the universe, from each other. We are agreeing to demand the best for ourselves and settle for nothing less than that. We are agreeing to discover the truly passionate person who's living inside us and who has been stifled down by all the BS that's been built up on top of her. We're agreeing to get started in the process of freeing her and letting her out. All right, so question for you guys who are on here live. You can say yes in the chat if this is you or was you at some point. Like, do you roll your eyes, or did you used to roll your eyes at the idea of self-help, like self-help books? Because I totally did. I was the type of person, and I talked about this in a video last night actually, who was just kind of like a natural leader. I was not someone who wanted to follow, right? I always wanted to be kind of in charge. That's what led me to teaching. I remember since I was little, like looking in a classroom and being like, oh my gosh, I could be in charge of this shit. That would be so much better than sitting behind the desk, right? And in general, I don't like people telling me what to do. I like to think that I can handle my stuff, right? And so that kind of kept me from looking into the world of self-help and rolling my eyes at coaches and people who wanted to help me, because I was thinking, no, I can do this on my own. Meanwhile, I was pretty unhappy with a lot of things about my life and just thinking like, well, when I want to change it, I will change it. Meanwhile, I'd wanted to change it, but nothing was changing, right? And when I took some like inner look at the reason that I didn't want help, it was mostly because when you get help, right, there are people there to call you out on your shit. There are people there to tell you what you're doing and what you need to change, right? And for me, I was already kind of tearing myself down enough. I didn't need another person to do that for me. Even though they wouldn't have been tearing me down, I didn't need another person to tell me what was wrong or what I was doing wrong or what I could fix, because I was doing so much of that myself. And so that's the kind of person that I was, and that's the type of person that I'm, really looking to help. People who are trying so hard to do everything on their own and need to just recognize like, hey, it doesn't need to be this freaking hard, right? Like, I can accept someone's guidance, someone who is a step ahead of me, to help me with this. And so I started getting interested in mindset and confidence through my weight loss journey, which if you guys have followed me for a long time, I've been sharing it online. And really, that's just how I was introduced to it. But once I got into it, I was like, oh my gosh, this changes every aspect of your life, right? It did help me with my health and fitness journey. It was what finally allowed me to stay on track with workouts and with eating better. I had never done that before in my life. But once I started shifting my mindset to that place, I was able to get into a routine and find reasons that I really wanted to follow through with those things. I had the ability to not stress about my body. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, but I made a post, and it was like a reverse transformation Tuesday post where I've gained 20 pounds back. And I can say that freely, and I can post my new, again, body on the internet and not feel ashamed and not freak out and just be like, hey, this is where I'm at right now. And, I know what I can do and what I'm capable of. And I have zero shame surrounding what I look like, what I weigh. Like, F that, I don't care anymore. Whereas in the past, I cared so much, but it was all the mindset work that shifted that for me, right? I quit teaching. I went to school for 5.5 years to get my teaching degree, right? Spent a crap ton of money, taught for 2 years, and then quit, right? To work for myself on something that I was not making nearly enough money to quit like an actual career and just jumpstart. Like, thank God for my parents. I say thank you to them every day for not, disowning me for that decision. But that's something that I was able to do because of confidence that I had in myself, that I could make something that I wanted to happen, right? My social life improved. I stopped having that social anxiety every time that I went out with my friends. I had such good friends and I was afraid to go out with them. I was turning down invitations for parties and to go to things because I felt uncomfortable in my skin, or because I would go there and I would think that they were talking about me afterwards for no reason. There was no rationale behind that. But I don't do that anymore. I don't stress about every single word that I speak. I know that what I say has value and it's not weird or abnormal or something that someone's going to make fun of or judge or talk about later, right? I have way less insecurity in my dating life. I know what I'm worth and I stand up for that, right? I'm able to openly admit that I desire things like money and love and respect and fun. And I feel no guilt for that because I don't feel guilty for wanting my life to be better. And that is because I shifted my mindset, right? And then I also was able to change the impact that I'm able to make on the world. Like, I'm able to affect people and help people because what I can do, I can then teach to someone else. So everything that you do, that impacts everyone around you. Every single decision you make is not a selfish decision, especially if it is going to better you, right? A lot of times I hear from people who want to get started working as with me, right, as their coach in some form. And a lot of times I can't rationalize spending money on this because I have kids or I have a husband or I have to buy this or I have to do that. And it's usually like, it wouldn't be fair to the people in their life. But what I have to say is, like, improving your life means that you're impacting the people around you in every single way, because you're going to be able to teach them what you learn. And also your energy is going to shift. And when you are the happiest, most passionate, awesome, excited version of yourself, that shows to everyone else around you, right? And so the most important step that we have to take when we are getting started with shifting our mindset and figuring out, like, how do we get into the next step, right? Because I can say work on your mindset, but you're like, okay, like, what does that mean? And that's kind of how I was at the start of my whole journey with it. I was just kind of like, I don't know what to do. So I read a bunch of books, I listened to a bunch of podcasts, but then I was able to kind of take it all together and be like, okay, what were the steps that I took in order to get there? And the first most important thing to do, which is why I created Unleash, because I wanted people to be able to do this first before moving into anything else, is unleash yourself from the freaking bullshit, right? We have so much BS that we carry around with us. And what I mean by bullshit, by the way, is limiting beliefs. Okay, I don't know if you guys do any personal development yet, then you know what limiting beliefs are. Basically, they are these beliefs that we grow up with, that are pretty much inherently in us since childhood, because of things our parents said, things our teachers said, things we saw in the media, things we picked up at home, things we felt, ways that we were treated, right? And they become our truths. They become this baseline of truth for us. So things like money doesn't grow on trees or love hurts. Those are limiting beliefs that create your reality. If you believe that money doesn't grow on trees because your dad always told you that money's hard to make and, we have to save it and we can't go on vacation, then you grow up as a person, money is hard to find, right? It doesn't grow on trees. When you see your parents fighting and screaming at each other and then making up the next day, and then fighting and screaming at each other and then making up the next day, what you learn is that love hurts. And then that kind of translates into your relationship as an adult, because your limiting belief is love hurts. So when something hurts, you see it as love and you accept that type of thing. So those are just some pretty common examples of limiting beliefs, but we have so many and they go so deep. And the thing is, it's kind of hard to figure out what they are, especially because they go back so far, right? So we are literal sponges up until the age of 7. So what that means is everything that is said to a child until they're 7 years old, they just accept that as truth. And so we use that to form our view of the world and of people and of ourselves as this is what life is, because of those things that we've soaked in from before the age of 7, right? And no one is meaning harm. No one who's telling us these things or speaking to us are thinking those things. Hold on, someone's asking for the link real quick. no one's thinking that they're trying to harm their child, or, you know, they're not saying money doesn't grow on trees because they're trying to mess with your money mindset. Like, they are doing it for good. But what it does is it's their limiting belief that they had in the first place that then is getting passed down to who they're talking to the kids that they're talking to, and all of that, right? So when we're born, right, something to keep in mind is when we're born as babies, we're loved just as we are, right? And then slowly the love starts to become a little bit conditional. So think about it. When a baby is born, we love them. We hug them. We don't care who they are, where they came from. We're like, oh my God, you're so cute. I love you so much, right? Same thing with like a puppy. You see a puppy, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't care whose puppy you are. I don't care what you're doing. Like, oh my God, I love you so much. You're amazing, right? All they have to do, babies and puppies, they just have to be, right? All they have to do is be. And once we start growing up a little bit, once we become toddlers, and once we, become children, then things start to be a little bit more conditional, right? It's like, be quiet, speak up, wash the dishes or you're grounded, drink the vodka or you're not the cool kid. There's all of these things that shape how we receive love, or how we think we're receiving love. Because our parents, when they say like, be quiet, quiet down, they're not saying I'm not going to love you if you don't shut up, right? But our little selves, if that's said to us enough, it's okay, I need to do this in order to be loved by my parents, right? I need to do this in order to be accepted by my peers. So that's what we're always going for. Everything comes back to love. We develop these BS beliefs about what's required of us in order to be loved. It's our basic human instinct. We want acceptance and we want love. And then all of this bullshit that we create about what we need to be in order to be loved, it just piles on top of each other. So we have our little cute baby selves that we just are when we're born, right? And that is the version of us that's supposed to grow up into being this like amazing kick-ass version of ourselves. But can someone go into You Glow Girlfriend right now and just share this? See if you're able to share the invitation and just post it again, because people are still having trouble getting in for some reason. So if you're able to do that, let me know. But so that all piles up on top of each other, and on top of our true authentic selves, which we want to be able to come out. And that person is still in there. She's just buried underneath all of these beliefs and all of these lies that we have taken as truth, and they're shifting how we present ourselves to the world. That's shifting how we show up, right? And that it's changing, and it's holding down like our highest selves, our inner goddess, our inner badass, however you want to think of her, right? And she's so covered up by all of those layers of limiting false beliefs. And what we need to do is get rid of that stuff, get rid of that crap. And the first step is getting rid of it is knowing what it is knowing what the BS is. So we don't know what it is, then we can't get rid of it. So the first step that we have to do is figure that out, okay? All right, give me 1 sec. Was anyone able to do that? I'm just gonna send a link to Carly real quick before we move on. Try it again. Thank you. Trisha, can you just in the group like say what it was? I'm not sure if they know. Let's see. There we go. All right, awesome. And honestly, if people don't get it, then we do have the replay I'm recording, so we will be good to go anyway. But thank you so much for helping. Okay, so one of the ways that we can figure out what our baloney is, what these limiting beliefs are, is these three questions that you can ask yourself, right? And this comes from Tony Robbins, who you guys probably have heard of. And he's like big guru on personal development, on changing your life. And he really is the one who talks so much about the concept of love being what we're all after, right? And love being what makes us form these beliefs and makes us believe these things. So the number one question, and this is what I want you to grab your notebook and write down so that you can journal on this later, right? Because this is important. So the first question is, growing up, whose love did you crave most as a child, your mother or your father? Right? And this doesn't mean who loved you more. This doesn't mean who did you love more. This doesn't mean who was meaner to you. It just means whose love was a little bit harder to get. right? And the answer can change. So if you've done this before, then make sure that you do it again. Take time to do it again, because you'll see as you grow and as you shift, you have to keep doing these things in order to see how things go. So the first question is, whose love did you crave most, right? And I'll share my answers with you. That's fine by me. I craved my mother's love more, right? Because for me, that's who I was around more. And for some people, it's the parent who was absent, right? That's whose love they craved more. Neither of my parents were absent, but I was around my mom a lot, and it was, I was the oldest. I had to be responsible. I had to be the good girl, right? And so the second question is, who did you have to be in order to receive love from that person? So like I just said, I was the oldest. I had to be good. I had to be responsible. I had to, stand up for my sisters, and I had to do, put on that role in order, how I felt as a little kid, in order to receive that love, right? And then the third question is, who could you never be? So who were you not allowed to be? Right? So for that could be things like you're not allowed to be too loud. You're not allowed to be too in people's faces, right? You're not allowed to be too quiet. You're not allowed to be a partier. You're not allowed to date, right? There's all these things that could kind of mess with our beliefs. So who is it that you could never be in order to receive love? Okay. So I want you to write those things down. You don't have to think about them right now, but journal on it and get yourself to a quiet space to meditate on it later. Because those things are really important. They can really help you figure out some stuff, right? And you can do this when you're thinking about so many aspects of your life. So sometimes for me, it's easier to think, okay, I'm trying to heal my money mindset, or I'm trying to heal my mindset around relationships or around my weight. And then we can re-answer those questions with those thoughts in mind. And that kind of helps you narrow it down, right? So think in terms of relationships, money, friendships, your confidence, and just figure all of that out and answer those questions from those angles, okay? So some other questions that you can write down right now is, there are questions that involve getting in touch with your inner child, which is something that we dig into a lot deeper in Unleash, and it'll be even deeper this time than in the first session, because I've learned more and I've gone through more trainings and invested in more programs, so I know more to help you with more. But some general questions that you can ask yourself is, as a child, who were you on the playground, right? Imagine yourself as like 7 to 10-year-old running around. Who were you? Who were you at home at the dinner table? How did you act? What was going through your mind? Who were you in the classroom with your peers and on the bus? Who were you at parties, right? Who were you in all of those areas? So what does all of this mean, right? How does it translate into your behaviors and beliefs about your life now? Okay. That's the next step, is to figure out and discover the truth despite all of that. So we have to know what those things are so we can figure out the lies that we've been telling ourselves, right? Like how we grew into the person that we are, so that we can unleash it and let go of it, right? So guess what? You get to be like that baby. You get to be just you. You get to walk like you want, and you get to talk like you want to talk, and you get to act like you, and you get to dress like you, and you get to be loved for it. And that's something that we really have to recognize. That's how you become successful and happy, by being authentic, right? Finding your core and discovering who you truly are, and discovering where you're lying to yourself and where you're accepting things that you shouldn't. That is how we become our best selves and who we're truly meant to be. Okay? So here's my 3-step process for healing your bullshit, right? Right. So the first thing that I think is important to do, and you might have done this in a past training with me, but I think it's important to do again. I did it again just today. I do this very often, right? Is to make a list, right? And this list is like a 2-part list. It's like a T-chart. Okay. And it's, what are you available for? And what are you no longer available for? So the first question is to think of things that you are available for, that you want in your life, that you will allow into your life, right? Get clear on that. And then what are you not available for? What are you going to kick out of your life? So after you've discovered what all of your bullshit is, like, what are you no longer available for believing? How are you no longer available to act? What are you no longer available to to do, to have, to think. Okay. So for me, I'll give you an example. And this is something, like I said, you can do it over and over again, and you should do it over and over again, because we constantly have to shift and grow. And all of these things I teach, I constantly do. Right. And sometimes the same things come up when I make this list. And sometimes it's new things that I'm like, holy crap, I just realized what I now have to work on. Right. So for me right now, what I'm available for is I have a new monthly minimum of an income in my business. Right. I am available for love and respect and honesty in relationships and friendships. I'm available to have fun and play and joy in my life without feeling guilty and without feeling like I'm procrastinating every time I take a break. I'm available for a deep spiritual connection. And I'm available for healthy food and a desire for exercise, right? And I'm available for kick-ass freaking clients who light me up and inspire me. What I'm no longer available for, what I'm not here for, is having just enough money to pay my bills, is anxiety and overwhelm, because that's a choice, right? Think about it. Like if we get anxious or we get overwhelmed, we're choosing to feel that way. It's not solving any problems. All we have to do is take a deep breath and say like, okay, this isn't going to change whether I'm anxious or whether I come at it from a calm mind. So let me come at it from a calm mind. So I'm no longer available for those anxious and overwhelmed feelings. I'm not available for people who don't understand me and people who judge me. And I'm not available for stress around what others think of me and how they react to me. And I'm not available for my excuses about food, right? And that's a new one that I've added because you guys know that that's something that I was struggling with again. So then the second step after you make that list is, what are your beliefs surrounding each of these things, right? So now that you've admitted like what you want and what you don't want, what do you actually believe, right? So if you look at your list of things that you are available for, did you think big enough? Is that your limiting belief coming out right there? So let's say like you have a list and it says, okay, like I'm available for $100 extra a month, right? Is that because that's what you think you can have? Because then there's a belief surrounding that, right? Because I'm telling you right now, all of you are worth a hell lot of more than just an extra $100 per month, right? And this is just one example, but that's what you need to go back and look at. Like, what am I believing about what I do deserve and what I don't deserve? What is this list telling me about that? It's like doing a little bit of research on yourself. What do I believe I deserve and what do I believe I don't deserve? Right? And then what you want to do with those beliefs is go back and say, what do I actually know to be true about each of these things? So once you're figuring out what you believe about what you deserve and what you don't deserve, what do you actually know to be true, right? So I'm going to give you an example, right? So some of my limiting beliefs are that people, especially now that I'm like online all the time sharing my thoughts, people are going to judge me and get angry with me for my opinions or how I run my business or the things that I say and the things that I think if I'm authentically myself all the way, right? Another limiting belief that I grew up with and that I had for a long time was I'm not a good speaker and I don't have anything interesting to say and I shouldn't draw attention to myself, right? Does that sound like BS? Because it is, right? And I recognize that now. And rewriting those beliefs means you're looking for the truth. And so something I can say to you right now is whatever your limiting belief is, it's not true. It's something that you're telling yourself is true. Is there a big whiteboard in the sky that says that my opinions are right or wrong? That says Lily Howard does not deserve to speak her opinion. Lily Howard is going to be judged for the things that she says, right? Doesn't deserve to be respected, doesn't deserve to share her thoughts, isn't worthy of awesome, amazing clients. No, right? That's something that I would tell myself. And then I would put that block up around me. And that would keep great clients from me. That would keep people from, that would keep me from sharing my opinions. Because I believe that I deserve to be judged. But if I believe, hey, no, I'm worthy of sharing my opinion. I'm worthy of finding my people who agree with me. That's the truth, right? There's nothing out there that says that we can't have or do anything, right? We are all worthy of amazing freaking shit. And if someone else can have or do something, then you can too. None of us are like different to our core. It's all about what we choose to believe and what we choose to do. Right? It's not our limiting beliefs aren't our fault. What was poured into us as children and growing up was not our fault. But now that we're adults, it's our job to fix it. We are the only ones who can. right? And so that's why this kind of work is the way to do it. And is it hard work? Sometimes. Is it fun work? Sometimes. Is it painful work? Yeah, sometimes. But we have to choose that we're going to do it, because that is what sets people who succeed and people who are happy and people who find their passion apart from the people who don't, from the people who stay stuck in mediocre jobs, in mediocre lives, in mediocre relationships. They're the ones who don't make a decision to do something that's going to better them, who don't take the step out of their comfort zone, who choose to continue believing that those limiting beliefs are their truth. And then they go through their whole lives. And it's just crazy because it makes me like super emotional, because I'm like, I almost did that. If I wasn't introduced to this world of growth and mindset work, and if I didn't unleash the bullshit that I had, like, that's crazy. I was going to go through the rest of my freaking life feeling how I felt, instead of feeling like this, instead of feeling so freaking good, instead of being able to shift through the shit that comes my way. Like, it's not like bad stuff doesn't happen to me, but I know how to get through it now. And I know that my happiness and my excitement and my passion is what's most important to me. So I always find ways to come back to that. And it's crazy sad that so many people just never get to change that. And so I think that if you are a person who is on this call right now, if you're listening to the replay, right, then you're someone who you now have the knowledge that it is possible to change, and you can't allow yourself to get in your way. You can't allow those limiting beliefs to be what keep you where you are, because you deserve so much freaking more. And this isn't even in my notes right now, just because I'm getting so excited. I'm so like, I want to shake everyone and be like, don't you see what you're freaking worth? Like, don't you see what this can bring to your life, what putting in effort to change yourself can bring to your world, right? Like, you can either stay stuck where you are, or you can have so much more. You can get rid of all the chains and the shit that's holding you back, and you can step into more, right? Like, how often do we choose to work through those beliefs? Like, it is hard. It's not always easy, and it's not always fun, right? Sitting down with my journal every morning, I can make it fun. But when I know that I actually need to grow and I actually need to get rid of some more shit that's in my way, that takes a lot, right? That's not easy. It's not like enjoyable. I'm like, oh, well, let me see how I was effed up in childhood today. Like, it's not something that's always going to be like a blast, but it's so worth it, because the end result is a blast, right? The end result is peace and happiness and passion and excitement and confidence in our decisions, confidence in our bodies, confidence in the things that we say. Right? And so that's what I teach my clients to do. And what my clients are doing now in order to see success and see transformations is they're making decisions, right? They're being confident in their decisions, because that's what Unleash teaches you how to do. Teaches you how to get rid of all of that crap and just freaking do the thing that you need to do, and recognize, like, hey, I am right in making this decision. Maybe it's scary, but I know how to do it, and I just have to do it, right? As we grow into next levels of ourselves, deciding doesn't become less scary. Deciding to do something is still scary. Saying yes to a big investment or a big opportunity or a relationship, it doesn't become less scary. We just learn to shift the fear, because we have this confidence in ourselves that we are going to figure it out. Because every time you figure something out, every time you do something, you build that confidence muscle and you get stronger. And that's what my clients are doing. That's what I'm doing, right? We're tuning into our gut and the universe and everything around us to make confident as hell decisions, right? And making decisions and taking jumps is scary. And often we put this tangible excuse onto it out there when there's an underlying fear that's actually keeping us from moving forward. There's a limiting belief that's actually keeping us from moving forward. So we say things like, I don't have enough time to work on this, or I don't have enough money to learn how to do this, or I'm scared that I'm not going to commit and I will give up. That's what it actually means, right? Because the money always shows up. The time always becomes available when it's something that you truly want to do and you truly want to have. So you have to just learn to shift from that lack mindset and get what you want, right? And that's what my clients are doing. That's what I encourage every single step of the way, is do the damn thing. Let go of that shit that's holding you back and step into the fierce freaking version of yourself. The only way to be that version of yourself is to have the confidence to do the thing. So we need to unleash the bullshit in order to find the confidence, in order to unleash the great, badass, awesome version of ourselves, right? And I will tell you, it's never ending work. Like everything I've said throughout this class tonight, like it's all never ending work. It's all stuff that I still do. I make decisions every day that I'm scared to make. But the reason that I work with a coach, and I believe that everyone should work with a coach and continue and decide to work with her for, like, I literally do every program that she has. I do her one-on-one coaching, her masterminds, because she helps me speed up the process of the change, of the confidence, right? Of the growth. It's someone to celebrate you, someone to get excited with you, someone to be like, you are freaking awesome, and is in your corner, right? But if I stayed inside my fear bubble and I never invested the first $555 to work with her, which is what I paid for her first program, I wouldn't be like, Unleash wouldn't exist. I had the idea over a year ago for a mindset program, and I never decided to take the jump until I decided to do the freaking thing. And that meant investing a chunk that was scary to me. That meant investing time that was scary to me. But once I did start deciding, it became addicting, right? You decide to do things that are in your best interest at all times. You get to trust your gut, and you know what your intuition is telling you. And it doesn't become less scary. You just learn to shift that fear more quickly and say, I know what my gut is telling me is true. You have to say yes when you're scared of things, because we don't grow inside of our comfort zones, right? You have to make decisions based on who you want to be and not who you are now. And that's something that I really dig into in Unleash, is like, make decisions from the point of view of the person who you want to be, not who you are now. Because if you continue making decisions based on who you are now, you're going to continue to be who you are now. But you want to unleash that inner version of you, that awesome freaking version of you who's been buried down. If you want to unleash her, then you have to start thinking like her, so that she can help you break through all of this bullshit, right? She can help push that all out of the way as she comes up and out. The transformation process in anything, it starts the second you make the decision. Whether it's an investment, whether it's a public announcement that something's going to change in your life, that energy of the decision brings on so much change. And it brings on so much energy that you need, right? And the second you make a firm decision and stop wavering and waiting and weighing options, that's the second that you level up. Right? You get this like jolt of like, fuck yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to release the bullshit. I'm going to find a way. And so that is what my clients do, right? They make decisions. That's what I do. I make decisions. I make decisions to release the shit. I make decisions to grow. I make decisions to change. I make decisions to shift. I make decisions to look inward and to do the hard work and to do the fun work too. I make decisions to celebrate and to look at what I've actually accomplished. Because a lot of times when we get so stuck on focusing on the bullshit lies that have been told, that we've been soaking up and believing our whole lives, we forget about the things that we actually did and the awesome freaking cool things that we actually make happen. And that's something that I do for my clients too, is like say, hey, like, I know you're saying all this bad stuff about yourself, but remember when you did this? Like, that's what a coach does, helps you recognize those things, right? So right now I'm going to give you more details on what Unleash is and why I created it, but stick around, okay? Because I'm going to do my favorite visualization to close us off in like less than 10 minutes, all right? So Unleash is my signature mindset-based program. I know some people think it's a weight loss program because that's what I've been doing for the past 3 years, but it's not. Can I help you in weight loss? For sure, right? These mindset shifts help me with weight loss, but they also help me in relationships, in my social life, in my confidence, in my career, in my impact, in my income. Whew. I created Unleash for the woman who is ready to let go of her shit and is ready to stop accepting mediocrity and to recognize that she deserves passion and excitement and luxury and thrill and confidence, and to go for it and to go after it. And then that doesn't make her selfish. It makes her better for the people in her life too. Okay, that's how the program is designed. That's what it's designed to do and help you do. And the technical part of it is it's run inside a Facebook group, and it's a month long, 4 weeks, and there are 10 trainings throughout those 4 weeks. The last session there were 8, so I've added 2 bonus ones, including a money mindset training. All the trainings are live, similar to this kind of style, but some of them will be just me training and talking. They're roughly 30 to 60 minutes each. And then half of them, we have hot seat coaching opportunities, meaning you have the chance to ask questions, get on, and I can do some coaching with you live if that's what you want to do. And there's also the option to upgrade to VIP, which just means that you do, throughout the course of the month, get a one-on-one 60-minute training call with me. So that's an option at any time during the course that you can get one 1-hour call instead of enrolling as a one-on-one client with me, which is kind of an awesome opportunity. There's homework along with each of the trainings so that you're not left floundering with no action. It's not like you're just learning. I'm giving you steps to take and things to do afterwards so that you can zone in on what actions you need to take based on what you've just learned. We talk about celebration constantly, celebrating the woman you are, the choices you're making. And the first celebration starts the moment that you enroll. I'm telling you, every time someone signs up for Unleash, I get up and I jump up and down for each woman that commits, like literally jump. Okay. I'm not just being like, this is not a metaphor. Like I get up and I jump physically. Every time a payment comes through on my phone, like I jump, because this is a heart-centered program. This is a people-centered program. There's a human connection in everything that I do. And believe me, I recognize that each payment that you make is a commitment that you've made to yourself, right? And I'm so beyond grateful for that. I celebrate every second of it. And I want you guys to celebrate every second of that too. Every time I make a payment to my coach every week, I jump up and down and I celebrate because I'm like, heck yes. Like this is me deciding to make my life better. So that's the energy that I'm passing on to the people in my group. So I can teach you to do the same for yourself and your people in your life, because being celebrated feels really freaking good. Okay. So the first half of this program involves unleashing from the bullshit that's holding you back and discovering your limiting beliefs and owning your shit. And we do inner child work and we do rewriting your story. And we talk about the power of choice and decision making, right? And then the second half is unleashing the inner badass goddess version of you. So that's when we talk about money mindset and we talk about the woo-woo spirituality stuff that I love. We talk about manifestation, right? And the logical side of it and the actual like fun, flowy, feminine side of it. We talk about celebration and fun and being in alignment. And at the end, we have a future self party, which is awesome because I encourage you to come show up as your future self and celebrate her. Right. And so in this session of it, there's going to be some PDFs and downloads that weren't available in the first session. You're going to learn my favorite tools and products that I use, my mantras, my daily routines, like literally everything that's just helped me step into this next high level version of me. That is what I bring to Unleash. You will go through a transformation. Okay. And you have access to everything for life, which is good to know. So details. The last day of early bird investment options is tomorrow, Thursday, December 20th. Okay. And the early bird investment is $388, or it can be 2 payments of $194 or 3 payments of $130. Okay. And so those payment plans, we can work that out however you want. But the last day to get it at that price is on Thursday, tomorrow. After that, it goes up. Okay. So we start on my birthday, January 2nd. So we'll have like a little party that day for our kickoff, which is going to be fun. I see Trisha over there. Yay. And doors close for good on Christmas Eve, and you can't sign up after that. So you have to make the decision by Christmas Eve if you want to get started with us in the new year. So remember that there is power in making a decision and in acting now. Okay. Like think about how much time you spend making decisions and weighing things out and how often you're waiting for something. What happens when you act is that transformation begins. It's magic. Everything starts. So message me after this call for payment plans, and we will get you set. And I will send you the welcome packet, which has like a ton of journal prompts. It has like a lot of information about what the program is going to be like. Okay. And you'll get that as soon as we set you up. And then also just know that I have an affiliate program. Okay. So whether or not you do sign up for Unleash, if you know someone who this would be good for, if you have a friend who would want to do it with you, if you refer someone, you get 20% cash back on whatever level they come in at. So if they come in by tomorrow, you get 20% of that 388 or 20% of the regular investment if it's after that. So if you know someone who would be interested in, definitely refer them to me. Make sure that I know, like you can give me their name or make sure that they mention you when they come to talk to me, right? So that's that. I really hope that we get some new, awesome, fresh faces. We have 8 people committed so far, so I'm so excited for every single one of them. Yes, Megan and Trish are on here, right? Yep, they are 2 of those 8, which is really exciting. So as promised, one of my favorite visualizations. If you were at the vision board party, we did one pretty much exactly like this. This is my favorite thing to do. And I think that it's so fun to come back to it and do it again to see how things change and see what shows up differently from the last time you did it. Because I think that every time we dig into recognizing and trying to visualize what we want for our lives, we kind of open up this we are able to get new ideas, right? So once we start visualizing what we want, we go out and live our lives, and we're more open to thinking about, like, what do I really want? So now you might notice some different things showing up for you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my camera really quick. You guys can feel free to do the same if you feel uncomfortable, like closing your eyes and relaxing. If you're watching the replay, then definitely just like close your eyes, find a comfortable position. Okay, so all right. Just start breathing, and I want you to tune into your breath. Okay, so in for 4 seconds and out for 4 seconds. And just continue breathing like that. Sit in it for a moment and allow yourself to fill up your lungs without the quick breaths that you might take throughout the day. Notice your body and how it feels, and allow yourself to come to a place just of softness and relaxation. So now release the space around your eyes. Allow your jaw to soften. Continue breathing. Right now, it's a time for you to open your mind up to endless possibilities. Okay, it's time to become a blank slate. Anything that you want is possible for you. So release any thought of lack and let go of any thought of how will I make this happen? And just let your intuition flow. Okay, so as you're going to start to imagine what changes you want to make in your life, the person that you want to shift into being, the best freaking version of you, I want you to just picture yourself in an empty space. So white walls, white above you, white below you, and all that is in this expansive, giant, empty white room is you. But then all of a sudden, things start appearing and things start coming into focus. And it's everything that you want. So knowing that, what do you see? Are you doing something specific? Are you carrying yourself in a certain way? Are you wearing certain clothes? Are there specific people around you? Are you traveling? Or is there a new job, maybe a new career? Are you living somewhere new? Are there material things surrounding you, like a new car, maybe even a new designer purse? Now tune into how you feel. I want you to imagine how you'd feel if you had everything that you wanted. If you had let go of the judgment of anyone and just tuned in to who you truly are and your true desires, who you're truly meant to be, how would that feel? Do you feel surrounded by love? Do you feel confident and excited and fulfilled and empowered? Have you stopped worrying about things like balances on your credit cards and on your loans? Are you so genuinely passionate and motivated and happy and excited? As you continue breathing, I just want you to bring forward a feeling of abundance and possibility, of knowing that all that you want is possible for you as long as you let go of what's been holding you back, as long as you make decisions to step out of what's holding you back. We live in such an abundant universe, and there's enough out there for all of us. You are allowed to be who you are meant to be without judgment, without lack. The universe isn't concerned with how you grew up or whether you can afford things or whether you think you can do things. So You need to right now rid your mind of can't and turn all of your thoughts towards yes, and this life is already mine, and I already am her. Continue breathing and continue imagining that life you're going to have, those feelings you're going to feel, the ease and the confidence and the relaxation that is going to exist within you, the peace that you are going to have when you are truly being yourself. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, thank you guys so much for jumping on tonight and for dealing with the technical difficulties. I know that it was a little bit stressful to start out, but thank you for those of you who stuck around live. And for those of you who took the time to watch the recording, seriously appreciate you so, so, so much. And I hope whether or not you do decide that Unleash is the next step for you, I hope that this has just inspired you to do the work, to start making decisions for yourself that you know are in your best interest, to stop letting fear run the game and instead recognize it and walk with it and just start to become the best version of yourself. Okay. And if you want to get in on Unleash and work with us and have me help guide you through all of this, tomorrow is the last day of early bird, so message me as soon as possible, and I will talk to you guys all soon. Love you so much. Sending so much love and light. Good night.